Now, I want to talk about a situation that's occurred with naturopathic doctors. I don't know how many of you have heard about Mr. Eldon Dahl. Any hands? Ooh, hardly anyone. Okay, some. Mr. Dahl was trained as a naturopathic doctor, and he practiced as a naturopathic doctor for a period of time. And then he decided what he was going to do was, instead of practicing as a naturopathic doctor, he was going to provide naturopathic doctors with under-the-counter products. And you think, ooh, I hope a little red flag went up. Ooh, under-the-counter products, those have to be illegal, right? Well, it's even worse than that. So let me make it just sound as awful as I can first, and then I'll explain to you why this is just an ethical disaster. Not only were these products unlicensed, but these products all contain prescription drugs. Every one. So I remember I told you everyone agrees you can't take something listed on the prescription drug list and add it to a product? Well, he did. Now, that sounds awful, right? Now, first of all, I hope you can appreciate, to a product, every single one, the prescription ingredient, is not a prescription ingredient south of the border in the United States. Meaning any Joe can go to Walmart and just buy it. Mr. Dahl is selling primarily to naturopathic doctors. He also would sell to some health food stores if he trusted the staff to be able to manage the products. Bearing in mind, they're all legal south of the border. You don't need a prescription. Things like L-carnitine or progesterone from a natural source in small amounts in a cream so that people don't have to take synthetic amounts, in a capsule, by large amounts like a doctor would prescribe. Now, from a safety perspective, you can disagree with me, but I find it hard to believe that a naturopathic doctor trained to use a treatment which is perfectly legal for any Joe to buy south of the border, I find it hard to believe that such a doctor cannot safely manage a patient in Canada on such a product. You can disagree with me, but just so you appreciate the safety perspective. Now, because of Mr. Dahl's case, I've called some naturopathic doctors associations, and I've learned something I really didn't know they were facing. I didn't know the challenges they had, because it was explained to me that every single day naturopathic doctors are facing an ethical dilemma. Because what will happen is a patient will come into their office who has gone through the mainstream medical system for a serious health concern, and the mainstream system just hasn't provided relief. And so now they're at the naturopathic doctor's office. So the naturopathic doctor knows if they send the patient away, it's kind of a dead end. They're just going to suffer. And they also know, oh, I'm trained to treat this person effectively with one of these illegal, under-the-counter products. And they have to make an ethical decision. And some naturopathic doctors are making the decision, I'm going to be legal, and they send the patient away to suffer. That's happening daily. But some naturopathic doctors are saying, ethically, I'm not willing to send that person away to suffer because my job here is to treat them and alleviate suffering, and they are choosing, for ethical reasons, to treat these patients on products that are perfectly legal south of the border. Now, I'll leave you to decide, whether that's a good decision or bad decision. I actually support those naturopathic doctors who are choosing to be compassionate and alleviate our suffering. That's where I stand, but you can stand where you want. Now, what reward does Mr. Dahl get for providing these products? Because he actually set up his business, all these products, they were good manufacturing practice manufactured so that the naturopathic doctors could be assured of, the quality, they could be assured of, that what it said was in it. They could rely on the products. He stood behind them, they could return them, the whole thing. He was actually providing a credible source for them to access these products. Now that these products are gone, those Canadians that were being treated by naturopathic doctors for those conditions can no longer get the treatments. But what does Mr. Dahl get for his efforts? He gets a visit by Health Canada accompanied by a bunch of RCMP officers in his private home. In fact, I had his daughter write out for me her experience, because his daughter, her experience of the RCMP and police showing up is hearing her mother beg with the police to put their guns away. because they come into their home with the guns drawn, you know, as if they're dealing crack or something like that. And this family, Health Canada was there for the entire day, was basically imprisoned in their kitchen with a police guard. If they had to go to the bathroom, they were escorted to the bathroom by the police. While for the entire day, Health Canada went through their private home looking for evidence to use to convict them. And you know, this week Health Canada will be busily working away in Ottawa with all the evidence they gleaned to try and build a case to convict Mr. Dahl. You can decide whether or not you think that's a good idea.